Good afternoon. It's time for the Iman Report. It is Wednesday, September 22nd. If you like what you see, give this channel a big like, and please be kind and hit that subscribe button. Today we are going to preview NFL Week 3. We are going to start off with the Carolina Panthers against the Houston Texans. Carolina, the 7.5-point favorites. Houston starting a rookie in Davis Webb. This will be his first career NFL start, and not exactly a great team to be making your NFL debut against. This could be a very long day. So it could be a long day for Davis Webb. This game's not going to be close. The Panthers defense I am buying on the Panthers defense. The Panthers defense is great. So I'm going to go with the Panthers defense is great. Sam Darnold has resurrected in his first 2 weeks. Sam Darnold's looked much improved at quarterback. And you got to credit Joe Brady for that. I just don't think this game's going to be close. Carolina wins. Carolina covers. Carolina wins it somewhere around 27-3. Next game, another game that's probably not going to be close. You get the Arizona Cardinals against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Arizona, Kyler Murray having himself a year so far. Right now he's putting so far great numbers. Last week he threw for 400 yards and he's looked really good. Christian Kirk's looked great. His receiving cores have looked great. Defense took a bit of a step back last week, but they get a little bit of a break in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence has not looked impressive in his first 2 starts. Urban Meyer is looking like he's already in over his head at Jacksonville. This is not good. This is another one of those games. It's going to be a slaughter fest. Arizona, the 7.5-point favorites. Normally on the East Coast, I would take the points. But this Jacksonville team is terrible. Arizona's going to win. Arizona covers. I think it could be something like 42-3. This could be a very long day for Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer. Another one that's an underrated goodie this week. You get the Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans. Indy 0-2. Carson Wentz may start, may not. Wentz has looked mediocre in his first 2 starts. It could be the unknown rookie in Jacob Eason starting this week. The Colts defense, we'll see. For the Colts to win this week, Jonathan Taylor needs to get going running the football. The Colts defense, not all that wonderful the first 2 weeks. As for Tennessee, they dug deep last week, got a win in Seattle after losing week 1 to the Cardinals. So definitely, if King Henry can get it going, it's going to be a long day for Indianapolis. But at this point, I just don't think that Indy could compete with Tennessee at this time. Tennessee is going to win this game. I just don't know I'm going to take the points in this game though. Another one that could be a little closer than people think. The Baltimore Ravens against the Detroit Lions. Baltimore pulling off a big win against the Kansas City Chiefs. Baltimore's defense has not exactly looked that good. They allowed quite a bit. They allowed quite a few points to the Raiders and to the Chiefs the first 2 weeks. Granted, it's a step down in competition against Detroit. So this could be a game where the Baltimore defense gets going. Detroit's bad. Jared Goff looked like a Goff for the first half last week. He turned more back into being a Jared Goff the second half of the game, excuse me. I think this is going to be a game where Lamar Jackson is going to have a great day. I'm going to take Baltimore, but I am not sure they're going to cover the 9.5 points. I might take the points in this game. Washington football team against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo defense looked a lot better last week. Washington going with Taylor Heinicke again. So all things considered equal. Heinicke is a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a great quarterback. He's serviceable. Josh Allen has regressed a bit this year so far. He's not where he was last year, but last week the Bills' defense took care of business. Buffalo might need to rely more on running the football this week. Can Washington put up points? That's a question mark. But I think Buffalo should win it. But at 8.5, I'm taking the points. And it could be something around I'm going to say 24-17 game. Now we get the New Orleans Saints going to Foxborough against the New England Patriots. Man, Jameis Winston had a game to forget last week against Carolina. Question is, which Winston are we going to see in Week 3? I don't know. I think you're going to see maybe another week of the mediocre Jameis Winston. The Patriots' defense is stout. They are great. Mac Jones hasn't been bad, but he's been one of the best rookies so far. He's been an effective game manager, and he's learning under the good system of Josh McDaniels. I think if the Saints will have a fighting chance, they might need to get Taysom Hill more involved in the offense this week. But chances are I'm going to go with the Patriots in this one. Patriots win. Patriots cover. I think it'll be something around maybe 27-20. And what could be a big game in Kansas City? The Los Angeles Chargers against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chargers barely lost to the Dallas Cowboys last week at home. Now they go to loud Arrowhead. Chargers defense has been great. Justin Herbert has maybe had a little bit of a sophomore slump here in the first couple games. Good news for Herbert is the Chiefs' defense is terrible. The Chiefs' defense can't stop anybody. The Chiefs' defense is a liability. Finally, Mahomes loses a shootout last week. And the week before that for Kansas City. Against Cleveland, they barely beat Cleveland. I don't know. I think this game is going to be a close shootout. If the Chargers defense can shut down Patrick Mahomes, if they can pass rush Patrick Mahomes and scheme, I think the Chargers can pull off the upset. Chargers can't run the Chiefs can't run the football. The Chiefs defense has been terrible. I don't think we're going to have an upset here, but at 6.5 points, I'm going to take the Chiefs are going to win, but they're not. I would take the points at 6.5. I think Chiefs will win it somewhere around 24-20, or I'll even go higher, something like 37-34. I think it's going to be a shootout type of game between Mahomes and Herbert. Another one that's interesting: the Chicago Bears going to Cleveland. Chicago starting a rookie quarterback this week in Justin Fields, who will make his NFL debut. But we'll see how Justin Fields does in his NFL debut. Granted, I don't have a lot of confidence in Matt Nagy at this point. But it's going to come down to the Chicago defense at this point. Can Chicago shut down Nick Chubb? Can they shut down the running game? Can they make Baker Mayfield have to use his arm? That's where Chicago might stand a chance in this game against the Browns. The Browns' defense has underperformed this season so far. They allowed 30 points to the Chiefs, and then they allowed the Texans to score over 20 points. Not exactly giving me confidence So the Browns' defense has been a bit of a liability. I do think the Brownies are going to win this, but I do think the Browns are... I'm not confident at 7.5. I'm going to take the points here. Browns are going to win this, but I think it's going to be something like maybe 35-32, 35-31. The Cincinnati Bengals against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not a good day if you're Joe Burrow. You're getting a Steelers team that's going to be angry from losing to the Raiders. Burrow coming off a terrible game against Chicago. Burrow threw a lot of picks in this game. Burrow got roughed up. That O-line for Cincinnati is terrible. What's worse is the Steelers' defense is good. It's going to be a very long day for Joe Burrow in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a very long day for Jamar Chase. A very long day for Joe Mixon. You get the story. Big Ben, not the greatest quarterback anymore, but I do think this is going to be a good game for Najee Harris. Najee Harris is going to have a great day running the ball. I think Pittsburgh's going to win this. They are going to cover. I think it'll be something like 31-10. Give me the Steelers. In what I think is a pick'em game this week, the Atlanta Falcons against the New York Giants. Two teams that really that might need to tank at this point. Falcons defense is atrocious. Matt Ryan looking like a quarterback that's washed. Arthur Smith trying to do the best he can with Matt Ryan. But this is a Falcons team where maybe Arthur Blank at some point is going to have to throw in the towel and rebuild in Atlanta. New York, defense is actually pretty good for the G-men. I think this is going to be a good game for them to bully Matt Ryan. If we see the Daniel Jones that showed up last week against the Washington football team, this could be a very winnable game for the G-men. G-men play hard for Joe Judge. Can Saquon this might be a good game for Saquon to get going running the ball. That being said, the G-men, the 3.5-point favorites, I'm doing it. G-men win this game. It'll be the G-men winning G-Men win. G-Men cover. Not the highest scoring game, but 20-10. It's going to be the G-Men winning. Next up, the Miami Dolphins against the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders, the 3.5-point favorites, against the Miami team that is starting Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Tua out for this week. I wonder who the Miami backup quarterback is this week now. But Brissett is not a good quarterback. Brissett, there's a good reason why Brissett is no longer in. There's a good reason why Brissett's no longer in Indy. He's not a good starter. But that means it's going to be Jacoby Brissett. They're not. It could be a long day for Jacoby. I don't see Jacoby Brissett beating this Raiders team. Even if this is what could be potentially be a trap game for the Raiders. Carr will likely be starting. This could be a great game for Henry Ruggs. If Miami's going to win, it's going to be on defense, but you can't win on defense enough with Jacoby Brissett as your starting quarterback. I think it's going to be the Raiders. Give me the Raiders win. Raiders cover at 3.5 points. I think it'll be something like 30. I'm going to go something like 27-21. Or maybe even worse than that. But I do think the Raiders are going to take care of business against the Dolphins. New York Jets against the Denver Broncos. Question is, why, for the Jets, is why is not Josh Johnson your backup quarterback in New York? This New York Jets team is dysfunctional. It's bad. This team is rotten to the core. I feel bad for Robert Saleh at this point. I feel bad for Zach Wilson. It's going to be another one of those days where Wilson's going to get hit. Wilson's going to get roughed up. It could be another 4-pick game if things go off the rails. Hopefully, I just hope at this point we don't see Zach Wilson get hurt at this point. Denver's defense is back. Von Miller's playing great. Teddy Bridgewater has looked great since coming to Denver. This Denver team is going to win. And you know what? They're going to cover. Denver at 10 points at Mile High. Yes. They're going to win. They're going to cover. It's going to be a 34-3 blowout in Denver. Next week, the game of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Los Angeles Rams. Tom Brady heading to SoFi. This should be an exciting game. The Bucs are the 1.5-point favorites. Tom Brady has been great. Gronk has really been good this year. But they are going to be without Antonio. Without Antonio Brown this week. So it's going to be a lot of Mike Evans this week. Can Ronald Jones run the ball? Tampa Bay's defense has not been great this year. They allowed a lot of points to Dallas. They've allowed a lot of points last week to Atlanta. Defense has got to be better at tackling. Stafford has looked really good since going to L.A. This could be a coming out party for Matthew Stafford. This should be exciting. This could be a fun game. Cooper Kupp's going to get going. Henderson's going to get going. I'm doing it! L.A. upsets the... L.A. gets the win over the Buccaneers. Rams win it. 35-32. Next up, Seattle Seahawks against the Minnesota Vikings. Seattle's defense last week went back to the same old Seattle defense. O-line not protecting Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson was Superman last week. But how long can they go to the well with Russell Wilson? Can Chris Carson get going this week for Seattle? Luckily for them, they're playing a bad team in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is the only one who I think is not quit on playing yet. Dalvin Cook, this could be a very good game for Dalvin Cook. Thielen could have a great game. But the Minnesota defense is atrocious. That being said and done, Seattle, the 1.5 point favorites. Seattle has owned Minnesota. Seattle gets the win. Seattle covers. Seattle 34-27. Another fun game yours truly will be at this week, the Green Bay Packers against the San Francisco 49ers. Green Bay maybe got some false hope last week playing against the Detroit Lions. Detroit kind of looked great in the first half before fading in the second half. The offense looked much better. I think this will be, we will find out if Emmanuel Mosley is playing or not for the 49ers. Lenoir held his own in the secondary for the 49ers. But the other key is injuries in the run game for the 49ers could force Jimmy Garoppolo to use his arm more. You could see a lot more Debo. You could see maybe a lot more of Ayuk this week. Maybe even more Kittle. But when the Niners have a winning record, Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers is 0-4. I think that the 49ers are going to be ready to have fans back at Levi's, including me. I think 49ers are 3.5 point favorites. Niners win. Niners cover. It'll be Niners, I will say 24-17, the San Francisco 49ers. And the Monday night game, a classic rivalry between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Philly, they look better than what a lot of people give Philly credit for. Jalen Hurts is actually a good quarterback. Jalen Hurts has been decent. Philly's defense has looked much better in the first two games this season. Dallas, their defense has looked much better in their first two games this season. Dallas's offense looks so much better with Dak Prescott at quarterback. Who wins? Dallas, the 3.5 point favorites. Yeah, Dallas is going to get the job done. Dallas wins. I think it's going to be something like 20-17. Something more like 24-17. Dallas wins. Dallas covers. Those are my picks for this week. Everybody have a good week. Enjoy football. I will see you at Levi's on Sunday.